Good evening. I'm Simone Sanders Townsend, and we begin tonight with the White House digging in its heels in full Orwellian 1984 style, telling Americans to reject the evidence of their own eyes and ears about that Signal Group chat security leak debacle. This continues even as The Atlantic published the entire chat thread, including this key portion from Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, with a stunning amount of specific detail of the military operations leading up to and even during the bombing of Houthis in Yemen. You can see it right here on your screen. And now, for a third day, the entire administration has continued to hold to their absurd stance that none of that information that you can literally read and see for yourself should be considered classified, and that we should all just move on.
Upplays it. I think it's all a witch hunt, that's all. There was no harm done because the attack was unbelievably successful that night. Hegseth is doing a great job. He had nothing to do with this.
The conversation was candid and sensitive, but as the President National Security Advisor stated, no classified information was shared.
None of the information on there at any point threaten the operation or the lives of our servicemen. And in fact, it was a very successful operation.
Nobody's texting war plans. My job, as it said atop of that, everybody's seen it now, team update, is to provide updates in real time. General updates in real time, keep everybody informed. That's what I did.
Do you trust the Secretary of Defense, who was nominated for this role, voted by the United States Senate into this role, who has served in combat, honorably served our nation in uniform? Or do you trust Jeffrey Goldberg, who is a registered Democrat and an anti-Trump sensationalist reporter?
You don't have to trust Jeffrey Goldberg. You don't even have to know who Jeffrey Goldberg is or what he's about. Trust yourself. Read for yourself. We've left it up on the screen for that very reason. Joining me now is Congressman Joaquin Castro of Texas, a member of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. And he was in that hearing today. Congressman, I want to play for everyone just a snippet of your questioning during today's hearing. Take a listen, folks.
There is no way, having sat on this committee for 9 years, that somebody would come in with that information and give us something that says unclassified. You can walk out of this room with this information and give it to whomever you want. You know, with all respect, you and I worked on the committee at the same time. Tulsi, you and I came in together. I've never had an issue of beef with you. John, you and I are both from Texas. Y'all know that's a lie. It's a lie to the country.
They knew it was a lie. We know it's a lie. People can read for themselves on the screen. Yet they held fast in that hearing to assertions that there was no classified information, that there was nothing, no methods were shared. They didn't endanger anyone. What's your takeaway after that very explosive and I would argue informative hearing?
Simone, they're trying to convince us that the sky is green. This is a common playbook from Donald Trump and the people underneath him, which is to deny everything, never admit that they're wrong, never apologize. And this was gross incompetence and gross negligence that endangered our military members and endangers our allies as well.
Go.
No, and
Please.
So, you know, as I mentioned in that hearing, I've sat on the Intelligence Committee for 9 years, and there's so many things that we've been presented that are not nearly as sensitive as this, that come to us with high classification. So for the Director of National Intelligence, the CIA Director, and others to sit there and say that this is unclassified is absurd. And it's an insult. It's an insult to the American people.
You know, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, it is literally her job to know the classifications, to triple check what someone else has classified as something. And if it's misclassified, it is her team and she that says, actually, no, we need to up that, or actually, no, fine. They're like a clearinghouse for information. I was very struck by the fact, and I knew Tulsi Gabbard from before, but I was just still struck by the fact that she didn't seem to take her role in this as seriously as I would have thought. The DNI is the clearinghouse. So how are you in the hearing just, you know, oh, I don't really know, I was traveling, I don't really know where I was traveling, I didn't get a chance to look, I'm really unsure?
Yeah, I mean, what's striking, and I mentioned in the hearing, I've never had a personal beef with any of those people. But the fact is that President Trump nominated and put in place the most unqualified cabinet in American history. And it's dangerous for the American people. And it's an insult to the American people, and also an insult and not fair to the national security professionals and military professionals who would get court-martialed or possibly go to jail for releasing information, the kind of information that was released in this dangerous and reckless way.
Many have called for Hegseth to resign. The top Democrat on the Intel Committee in the Senate has called. Senator Warner has called for both Hegseth and Waltz to resign. Congressman Jeffries has called on Donald Trump to fire Hegseth. Colorado Democrats Bennett and DeJette have joined calls for Hegseth and Waltz to be ousted. Even Pete Hegseth's own hometown paper said if he had any honor, he would resign. Do you think not just Pete Hegseth, but also Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor, and also the DNI Tulsi Gabbard should resign?
Well, I think, first of all, Pete Hegseth, who shared those plans on the Signal chat, should absolutely resign. I think there should be a further independent investigation, and whoever was responsible, people that didn't put any kind of checks and balances in place, they should also be held accountable.